3, 2, 1. You don't climb into a T-180 to be a driver. You do it because you're driven. That was a quote from Cars 2, directed by the Kachowskis. And we're going to talk about that movie later. But first, I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. This is Sardonicast.
I'm Ralph Seppi.
I'm Alex Maichi. And is that an inner positive transponder?
Yes.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a bit.
This is from Speed Racer, not Cars
What?
2.
That Speed Racer was the working title.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just saw Cars 3 recently. That's why.
You did?
Like just yesterday.
Oh, how was that? I've never managed to get through that one.
Really?
It's not as bad as
Alex?
Cars 2.
I'm sorry. Hold the fuck up. Alex, you didn't manage to get through Cars. You watch every piece of shit.
I'm outing myself here.
I
know. I've seen Cars 2 even.
Pieces of shit is your thing.
There's something about the Cars universe. It gets under my skin, and once you get to
does.
planes...
It's very distracting how it doesn't make sense.
I'm shocked.
Like who's building the cars? Like you're just constantly thinking about that. Right?
Maybe I can check out Cars 3 just for you and report back, but man...
I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying I'm surprised.
I'm surprised too. I think it's something about it comes from Pixar. I don't know. Maybe I need to just let go of that. Where it's like all of those like early Pixar concepts were like so solid, and it was Cars that kind of started that decline in my mind.
What if Cars had big faces on the front?
It's their worst like series of movies, definitely the Cars movies. Yeah,
but it's so
just
successful.
It's just to sell toys. That seems to be the only reason they make them.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
The toy.
Wow.
But Toy Story, it's obviously so much more organic, and Cars, it just doesn't work. Like they're just really forcing the concept.
Yeah, all the like puns, the car jokes. It's so stupid.
I mean, like a toy car is already in the Toy Story. Like toy cars already exist within that. You don't need a universe specifically for like cars. It's weird.
Oh yeah, we do. We need a whole trilogy.
Yeah,
and spin-offs.
And there's a little more variety with the toys. There's all different kinds of toys. Cars, they're just all cars, except for, I guess, trucks and tractors and planes.
Yeah.
So,
sounds
interesting.
Think, like, what other, like, niche sort of, like, toy you could want to sell? You could, like, anthropomorphize or something. I'm trying to think of that. Like, what if Pogs could talk?
Well, there's all kinds of series.
It was the 90s.
Movies like that. Brave Little Toaster.
Yeah, but kids don't buy toasters.
VeggieTales does it with fruits and vegetables. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that like does that.
So Ralph, you used to have Movie Pass, correct?
Yeah, before they went out of business.
Well, they're coming back.
Yes.
What?
Did you hear?
They made Gotti. Yeah. Well, I didn't hear this.
They made Gotti.
That's why I'm excited for them to return. Maybe they can make Gotti too.
It seems like it's going to be a little different when they return.
Oh, how?
This is an article from Vice, so take it with a grain of salt. There's a couple other articles. I'm still waiting for like a place that I trust to cover this, but there's enough covering it that it's like, okay, I guess maybe this is happening. MoviePass 2.0 wants to track your eyeballs to make sure that you watch ads. The new service is launching this summer with a Web3 style wallet where users watch ads to earn credits for movies. So they're changing their business model where people earn credits for movies by watching ads. However, the ad won't play unless you are looking at the camera on your phone. So it tracks your eyeballs to make sure that you're looking at it.
Some Black Mirror stuff.
I know. It's really fun. There's probably easy ways around it. I mean, you could probably just like put your phone up against like a poster in your room that has a face on it and probably trick it.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of like interest and money in that whole realm of technology, isn't it? Eye tracking technology to maximize ads and how to like place things on a screen to draw attention. It is like a really gross kind of cynical way of thinking about like visual art, like trying to figure out the scientific process behind it so you can maximize interaction.
I'm all about targeted advertising. I'm not about forced watching of advertising. I feel like everything should have like an opt-out for like, if you want to, I have a YouTube Premium, I'll pay like a little bit of money and not have ads, and I'm happy about that. I think every service that displays ads should have some sort of equivalency, and you can decide whether or not it's worth it for you. I don't mind getting ads for things that are more of my interest. I don't mind my user data being used to provide me with ads of products that I might actually buy instead of things that where I'm like, okay, this is just annoying, right? So I don't care about that in that sense, but like, fuck, being forced to watch an ad, I hate ads so much.
Yeah, I'm bothered every time I go to the cinema, every time I go to the theater. I'm like, I'm already like paying premium to sit down here, and now you're forcing me to watch like upwards of half an hour of ads too.
The movie ticket should cover the cost of the ads.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have to sit through that.
Yeah, when I go see like a show, like a Broadway show, they don't like play a bunch of ads for like toothpaste beforehand. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Trailers or ads as well.
Yeah.
Lots of ads.
The movies have ads. David Fincher does a lot of product
built
placement.
into them. Yeah, they go to like
Michael
Walmart
Bay.
in the new Ghostbusters. It's like crazy.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Part of the economy. Ads make everything happen, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like them. What are these stats? Like the average person? Let me look this up before I repeat something I heard on Reddit. Let's see.
An average person stat.
Digital marketing experts estimate that most Americans are exposed to around 4,000 to 10,000 ads each day.
Each day.
According to
Jesus.
Forbes in 2017. And I'm not going to read the whole article, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, what's an ad anymore? Is a logo on a shirt an ad? Because it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose a nice pair of trainers are like an ad.
Yeah. Every time you do a Google search, the top 3 results are ads.
Notifications on your phone are ads.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck.
For like AMC, A-List, right? If you have that, you get all kinds of ads for movies, whatever. Best Buy, you get ads for shit.
So will you... Now, my question to you, Ralph, is you sounded like eager for MoviePass to come back.
Yeah, well, because I just want Gotti too. That's the
You
only
just want
reason.
Gotti too, okay.
Yeah. I'm
Fair
gonna
enough.
watch 40 hours of ads so I can go see it for free.
Can you clarify MoviePass making Gotti? Like, what happened there?
Didn't they make the first Gotti? They like produced it?
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I didn't realize
I'm
they
almost
had any
positive.
link.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I love that.
MoviePass produced.
Absolutely. They produced a few films and Gotti was one of them. You know, that's one of their... It's a bomb. Like, it was terrible.
Oh, wow. Yeah, by Vertical Entertainment and MoviePass Ventures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and it premiered at
Whoa.
Cannes. That's funny.
MoviePass Adventures.
Oh, my God.
But it kind of went under the rug at Cannes. Like, so, it didn't win
why?
any awards, you know? It didn't win the...
Oh, weird.
Yeah, but why?
MoviePass Venture Films. There are 2 listed on Wikipedia. Gotti
Escape
and American
Plan 2.
Animals.
Yeah. 10 Minutes Gone. That's right.
Yeah.
With Bruce Willis. and not Frank Grillo, Michael Chiklis.
Oh, dear.
American Trader, The Trial of Axis Sally. Oh, that was them. That was last year. That was with Al Pacino. Have you seen that? American
No.
Trader, The Trial of Axis Sally?
That's a long...
Oh,
that's a
it's
mouthful
hilarious.
of a title, though.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's Al Pacino's in it, and he plays like a lawyer in like World War II. It's like a World War II period piece. It's like really cheap and bad, but it's like has
American
some really
Trial?
funny parts. Yeah,
Trader. American
It's like
Trader, The Trial of Axis Sally. Okay, I'll add it to my list.
Yeah. And there's like part like Axis Sally tries to kill someone like with a pillow,
Oh.
and he's like, "You think this is the first time someone's tried to kill me with a pillow?" That made me laugh. Well, there's a lot of
Damn.
funny parts like that in the movie. I'm like, this movie's crazy.
That's really funny.
It's got a funny poster
Al
as
Pacino
well.
has a great monologue.
Mhm.
The ratings are like surprisingly mixed for it. That's why I bring it up, and I don't know.
Like user
I'm being
ratings?
ironic in saying
It's got like a 25 Metascore.
Okay, so that's not that mixed then. That's still a bit too high. I thought on Letterboxd it was a little higher. But like, yeah, obviously I'm being like a little sarcastic. Like it's really bad. It's one of those like, I guess the term's like geezer teaser now. Yeah, it has a 2.3 on Letterboxd. That's
Geezer
crazy.
teaser.
That's way too high. You know, it's like Al Pacino. It's like one of those like cheap like movies where they throw an old guy in and like, put it on video on demand. That's why MoviePass like produced it. They like put it out.
Mr.
Or, like, the
Chino,
Red
first
Box,
name
like, they make
Alpa.
movies like that.
Al Pacino has not had a great
Yeah.
track record as of late. Except for
Recently.
like The Irishman.
He's in stuff like this.
But
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the one.
That
that was
one's
the
great.
hey everybody, I can still be in a movie that's not terrible movie. Just letting you know.
Well, he has a monologue in this where he's like really acting like hard. It's like in a courtroom, and it's like you could tell he's like really trying, but you know it's just the movie.
Really? Like Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong place, wrong time, perhaps.
Oh shit!
It's just sad. It's just.
Did you hear that?
Okay, anyway, yeah, we can move on from that.
Did you hear that?
My little tirade.
The Writers Guild of America just gave "Don't Look Up" best screenplay.
Yeah, that was very bizarre. I just read that this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I meant
that's weird because that's not the best screenplay. But objectively,
it's made for Hollywood
Like, I
snobs. It's made.
I
for
literally
their crowd.
cannot stress that enough.
Oh my god.
It's
perfect
not
for
the
them.
best screenplay.
But it talks about real social issues, Ralph. It's a satire on regular America happening.
It makes me want to lower my rating, but I'm not. But it makes me want to
do what you feel. I actually have money on some of these Oscars now because I do some like sports gambling every once in a while. And so I noticed that they do like these special events. I'm not going to say which website because I don't want it to sound like a promotion, but they do these special things where you could bet on the Oscars too. I'm like, oh shit. There's some really obvious ones like Drive My Car's getting best foreign language and Encanto's getting animated feature. So I'm like, okay, I'll put a little bit of money on that. But then the odds for Don't Look Up are like, you get like a big payout. So I put $2 for Don't Look Up to win Best Picture, and I'll get like $90 or something if it wins. It's like, okay, well, if I lose $2, whatever. And after that Writers Guild win for screenplay, I was like, okay, I'll put $20 on Don't Look Up for screenplay, and if it wins, then I'll get like 300. But if it loses, then like whatever, I'll make it back with those other obvious ones.
So you saw it?
Oh yeah, I finished it too.
Yeah, you yeah.
It was really bad.
I don't get what people like about it. I'm like, was that funny? No, like,
no,
like what?
It wasn't.
It looks annoying. It looks
it is
irritating.
annoying.
It was very preachy. It was absolutely unbearable. It was like 2.5 hours long.
Like that was better than Licorice Pizza, like in terms of the screenplay.
I don't think they're gonna give it to Licorice Pizza.
Wait,
it's not a better. It's not a better screenplay than a lot
It's better than Don't Look Up.
I mean,
Nightmare Alley
exactly.
too is better than Don't Look Up.
I don't think Nightmare Alley is even nominated for screenplay, is it? I don't think it is. So I think Don't Look Up might have a shot because I don't think they're giving it to Licorice Pizza. But who knows? By the time this episode's out, the Oscars will have happened, so you can tell me whether or not I was correct. Yeah, Don't Look Up is like the only thing that you can absorb from it is its preachiness. It's a very unfunny, very try hard with the editing, especially. It's just absolutely obnoxious and pandering, and I agree with what they're saying politically, but there's barely any element of satire because they're just flat out saying it's like they're just saying things to you. There's no cleverness in how it's presented or written. Oh yeah. And it goes on for 2.5 hours, and it's just the same shit over and over and over again. It's just so one note. It's so unbearable. And Jennifer Lawrence is in it, and she's kind of annoying.
Yeah, seems a bit condescending at points, yeah.
The cast is like what gets the movie any attention at all.
Yeah, very star-studded from what I see.
Yeah. But they don't add anything to the movie. And like Leonardo DiCaprio is the handsome scientist, but like Jennifer Lawrence is the ugly scientist. Like, what was that in the movie? It was like Jennifer Lawrence is like an A-list star. Yeah, just like she's not ugly. Like they gave her like a different haircut, but like it just doesn't make any sense. Like they're both next to each other.
It's horrendous.
It's like, they're both gorgeous people. Yeah, it's just it's really
a disposable film that people might vote for.
What'd you think of Tim
Chalamet? He was really annoying. He was really fucking annoying. Everybody was really annoying.
I know a friend who worked on the movie, like COVID PAs or whatever. They kept having to tell him to put his mask on. I just thought that was funny. He like kept taking his mask off, like when they were filming the movie or whatever.
That's great. Yeah, I heard.
I just thought that was funny.
I heard what's his face from like Whiplash, Miles Teller, on like whatever movie he's working on. He like gave people COVID because he didn't follow protocol. Yeah, they had to like shut down production. Oh, I don't know. Whatever movie, it's not even out yet, probably.
Yeah, I think Top Gun was done by then.
COVID production must have been miserable. Can you imagine? Like it hits right in the middle of like
I think the Dear Evan Hansen movie, I think that like affected that production. I believe like the director said like, everyone did the best, during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Making a film, it's like one of those kind of statements.
It's really interesting and weird. It's just how much everything's changed, the film landscape and everything. And also like expectations for like box office. Now it's like harder to find out how well a movie did financially because everything's just streaming money anyway, which they don't like report box office numbers for. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, from the Hollywood Reporter. This is the headline. Dear Evan Hansen, director, says the pandemic took terrible toll on all of us.
So that's why the
There's a
movie was
countless
bad.
List. The excuse at least, I guess.
Yeah. Speaking of streaming service movies, we all watched the new Pixar film. It was called Turning Red.
Oh, right. Something I enjoyed.
Oh yeah. But you're
Yeah.
not Canadian or furry.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of anime or whatever.
Yeah. You enjoyed it.
What
Tell me
pandas?
about that.
Yeah, well, I like Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What'd you guys think of it? I liked it. Does anyone want to say what it's about, like briefly? Just like
Yeah,
briefly,
sure.
synopsis?
And
we'll say spoilers after.
Sure. A 13-year-old girl who is Canadian and lives in Toronto. She turns into a panda because of some curse from her heritage that was making her turn into a panda when she gets excited, and then she has to learn to control it. And therein lies the conflict of the film.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, spoilers.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
Spoiler time
good.
now.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was
I have
cute.
issues. I mainly felt from like my issues with it were like it's a little too long. Could have been like 10 minutes shorter.
Uh-huh.
I felt
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Really? Okay.
that was my only gripe. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a little too long. Like especially toward the end, I felt it started to drag.
For how like low stakes the story is, like largely. I'm with you
Sure.
on that. Just
Yeah.
5-10 minutes. I feel like because otherwise, this wasn't
Right.
like a
It could
Luca
have
for
been
me
90
where.
minutes. It would have been perfect.
Yeah, like I found Luca like to kind of drag if we're talking about recent
Mhm.
kind of Pixar output, and it was even kind of similar in terms of like the supernatural element of like having something to hide being like a big part of the story, but
Yeah.
just the framing here I felt like worked a lot better. I way preferred the central conflict and arc of the main character and just the way that was explored. It's creative and fun for me. Just a slightly new tweak on their style of presentation. I almost want it like turned up a bit more, like leaning into the cartoony nature, whereas there is kind of like a sense of grounded realism to a lot of their previous movies where they're like concerned with like the actual physics of everything, like the way Wally like goes over a rock like looks like accurate and everything. But here there's like a scene towards the end where she's like bounding over rooftops and they're really getting creative with the way they frame it and the storyboarding of it. And I was like, yeah, more of this. I just want to see them go absolutely mental with their creativity and not hold back in any way. It just as a way to like reinvent Pixar a little bit, because we've been pretty critical of some of their recent output. I didn't like Onward either. But this is more, it reminded me more of like one of the lower stakes like Miyazaki movies, like a Ponyo or something, where you know, the kid main characters, it's whimsical, it's fun, the tone is consistent, the story kind of escalates quite nicely. It doesn't stay kind of repetitive like structurally for me. They keep like having new cards to play, new things to reveal, new places to take it. And it's fairly just kind of nice and humorous and enjoyable for its runtime. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. I will agree that it's probably the most like intentionally stylized Pixar movie in terms of like breaking away from their usual look. And a lot of people made comments and I guess even criticisms on like the character design or like their faces in terms of like how they're shown emoting. Some people were like, oh, this is like a Grubhub ad or whatever. I didn't think it was like that bad for that. I did feel like maybe perhaps its intentional quirkiness was annoying at points, but what stuck out to me more stylistically than the character design was like the backgrounds. Like it was all it was like kind of like cotton candy colors, if that makes sense. Like very light, undersaturated, like pinkish, bluish, and I don't know if people think that's what Toronto looks like, but as someone who's been there, it's less visually interesting than that. Like this is very clearly a stylistic choice for the film, and it's cool. I like that there is a different color palette to it, and almost like a different texture to things as well. It keeps it a bit fresh for me.
Yeah, it looks great. I really like the shots in like the first part of the movie, especially in like the high school. So I
Mhm.
like creativity with that. What do you think of the boy bands? Like that whole element of the movie with the boy band.
I mean, that was fun.
Yeah,
What's
it
funny about
Leaned
it
was
is
into the
like
interesting.
joke. It was quite self-aware about it.
that's like the only thing that makes it, or at least perceives the film would perceive to be like making it a necessity for being set in what was it, the early 2000s, or like
Yeah, it was like 2003 or something.
yeah. Like if you take the
Yeah.
boy band element out of it, then it could be set anytime, really. But uh, I mean, even that, like, I would be perfectly willing to believe, like, oh yeah, in this universe, there's boy band,
Yeah,
K-pop's
that's
popular
right.
right now. They could be
This
a
is a
K-pop
period
band.
piece too.
Yeah, that's what's weird
Which
about
is
it.
it's like
Mhm.
it's just
Feels
but
like it doesn't need
just
to
like a
be.
decade or so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not too far.
so bizarre.
Yeah.
Maybe what's funny,
Yeah,
so
early
that
2000s.
dome
Yeah.
at the end, that where the
Mhm.
fight scene takes place. So there's this thing in Canada where like we have three major telecom companies, just phone ISP providers or whatever, and they keep buying up all of these like public venues. So like science world will turn into like Telus World of Science, just so they can have their name on it because they have way more money than
Oh,
they
yeah.
need to do it, because we're overcharged per capita higher than any other country on the planet for internet service and phone service.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's awful.
That sucks.
Yeah, they get away with it, but anyway, what's funny is like they call it the Sky Dome in the film, and currently it's called the, I think, like Rogers Sky Dome or Rogers Center or something, and I think back when the film was set, like early 2000s, it wouldn't have had the Rogers name on it. I think it was called the Sky Dome or something. So maybe perhaps the benefit of them setting it in the early 2000s means they don't have to like have branding for it to be like accurate in a sense.
Oh, right.
Not saying
yeah,
that
yeah.
is the
Mhm.
reason why they did it, but maybe that's just like an added benefit to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't nail down the main reason for that setting. At first, I thought it was something to do with avoiding mobile phones being a big part of the story, but they still that still comes into play either way. So it's just kind of an interesting.
Yeah, maybe it's
Time
just
period,
an
I think.
aesthetic. Maybe just the writer.
Yeah, maybe the director and writer. Has some
Domi
connection to it.
Domi Shi? Domi Shi? Maybe she just really loved the aesthetic of it, and maybe they just gave her a lot of or a decent amount of like creative freedom with what she could do and what type of story she wanted to tell. Because she did Bow, which was that short that a lot of people really loved.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was
yeah.
great. It's one of my favorite shorts of them from them recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought the movie was decent. I wish it was just shorter. That's
Yeah,
it.
my criticisms with the film are not really with the length. It was just kind of like there are parts that were really annoying. Just
Yeah, they could have just cut those parts out. Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
You could say that.
What part of it did you find annoying then? Was it the presentation, the voice
Well,
acting?
I mean, there's parts of it that
'cause
feels
I'm
kind of
with
like
you
try hard,
with a lot of it being annoying.
where they're kind of like leaning way too into like, oh, we're trying to be like the Mitchells versus the Machines or whatever, but they're like not
Yeah, I
doing
was
it.
reminded of that maybe.
Even Mitchells and the Machines was like kind of cringe at points with how much they were trying to be like, oh, meme humor or whatever. But like this film just felt like it didn't nail it quite as well, and you could see the effort more than you could see the result in some scenes. Whereas I see what you're trying to do, and that kind of just makes it feel more embarrassing.
Yeah, I didn't really find it that funny overall. I thought the most humorous aspect to me was the family dynamics and bringing in the whole like matriarchal aspect and like the whole family and seeing that and them all having their own like custom raccoon and all that kind of stuff was funny to me. But the moment to moment kind of jokes in the school and kind of the intense craziness of like the 13-year-olds like screaming and beatboxing and stuff, that's not really what I'm tuning in for.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's okay. I actually found Mitchell and the Machines kind of slightly more irritating.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the first couple minutes of this movie, I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to hack it. I was like, oh my god, this is like
it
so
is pretty
intense.
aggressive
If
at the
whole
beginning.
movie. Yeah, it's cool. Once you understand the whole movie's not going to be like that. But it's like, oh god, I was scared that if the whole hour and 40 minutes was of that kind of intensity, I'm not sure if it would work for me. But it does cool off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would get old if it was all like that. I didn't mind that part of the movie though. Kind of separates it from like every other Pixar movie. Like you said, it's not like the same shit right off the bat.
Yeah.
The emotional stuff, I guess, is fine. That felt a little more conventional. Wasn't a big fan of like the scene, like what is it, in the kid's birthday party or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like the presentation.
I like some of the aspects of the plot that led there. I like that they decided to just capitalize off of it and use it to get money. I find that pretty amusing. You know, there's direction in the story that I like.
Yeah, that part was fun. I like the dad's speech as well to her when he finds like the camcorder or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's some good characters.
That was a good part of the
in
movie.
This film.
Yeah, I thought the dad was good. Yeah,
I was glad for that because at first the dad's just like a joke, you know, for like the first half of the movie or whatever. He's the punchline for a lot of it. Because the whole movie's about family. It's about more so the kind of helicopter parent mother, the oppressive mother.
Yeah.
But the dad does play an important role, and he gets a good scene in there to kind of give him a bit of texture, even though he's mostly a joke character.
Yeah, and I like that even with the mom character, and you know, there's tiny things that they do in the film that prevent me from just like hating her. You know, there's parts where it's pretty obvious, like, okay, she's being completely irrational and just like, you shouldn't do this as a parent, but she's doing it out of love. It's just like a really misguided force and energy, you know?
Yeah, they give it a background.
Yeah, they place enough in the film where it's like, okay, this is something that you can empathize with and understand on a character level.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all the Canadian currency being thrown around, the loonies and toonies. Oh,
yeah.
Crazy, crazy, weird bills.
Another aspect of the humor I actually liked was the facial expressions. Going back into that, leaning into the cartoony side of it, there was something genuinely funny. Just purely like, we're talking about like SpongeBob recently, the SpongeBob movie, and like the Psychic Pebbles stuff. A good like funny close up is in animation always tickles me. There's some good ones in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Just like looking at the poster right now, it looks almost kind of like Ghibli-esque. Now that you mention it, just like that expression.
Because they were trying to go for that with Luca too a little bit, but I just feel like all the disparate elements of that movie didn't come together quite as well, quite as naturally.
There was what was it? There was like, right at the very end, they have a voiceover line that I could not stand. We all have a messy part of ourself. Some of us never let it out. How about you? I'm like, ugh, I can't. That point where it's just like, wait, is this a PSA? Like, I guess it can be, but like, don't do it so explicitly at the end. I don't know.
Quite corny. Makes it seem like it's aimed like pretty young.
Yeah.
She clearly is.
Yeah, that line's for the kids. I like what it was doing conceptually. It's kind of cute at points.
Now, I know the whole like gimmick of her turning into a panda kind of counts, but I was just happy there wasn't like a little sidekick they could, you know.
True.
It's just there with the main character the whole time. A cat.
True.
Or an annoying sidekick, because like the main characters were a group of friends, which was kind of new for them.
Yeah.
And just that early 2000s setting, like just in a high school, 13-year-olds, that is actually kind of new for them. There isn't really it is more grounded. It's what we were saying around the time of Onward and whatnot coming out, where just want to see them just play in the realism space, just once or twice. I just want to see what they do with that. You know, just give me one. And this is maybe the closest we've come to that.
True.
So far,
Yeah, this is one of the more realistic ones. Just focusing on humans mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. Yeah. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah. I like that it was, you know, like a metaphor for puberty. And also like this is the most different that a Pixar film has been. There's so many things about it where I'm like, I wouldn't have expected that in a Pixar film. where they actually show pads. I'm like, oh, this is kind of
Yeah,
this
when
almost seems
it
like for a
goes
higher
from-
age group
Yeah,
in a way.
I thought it was a little
Yeah.
more subtle at first, with just like the title or whatever. But I'm like, oh yeah, that's clearly what they're going
Yeah,
for.
I thought
It's
it
like
was
her
just going to stay
period.
with the title.
I mean, everything's red in the movie, right? You mentioned the red and pink production design and colors, and yeah, that's all intentional. Red panda, yeah, it is, but that works for the movie. It reminded me the most, if any other Pixar movie, reminded me the most of Inside Out. It felt very similar to that. And yeah, it's just like a kid like growing up, that kind of thing, or she's coming into her womanhood, I guess. So yeah, I got all those themes out of it. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Well-
I'm kind of with you. I just saw like a lot of the humor was like not that funny.
There are parts that
I wasn't a fan of like the dance sequences, like when they're dancing around, like whatever. I'm like, this could just cut out or whatever. Some of them, I mean,
some of those
there's
I
like certain
felt
ones I could point to. Not every single one. There's some that are like crucial, like when they're hanging out, like with the camcorder and they like record that, like that's a part of the story later. Like, okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's like a bit gratuitous in some parts. That's what it could be cut down, this movie.
Yeah.
And they probably would have been much better. Yeah. I like a lot of other Pixar movies I've seen recently more. I think Coco's better. I think Soul is better. I might like Luca a little more just because I like the setting.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah, the it's
Mamma
a
Mia.
Italian, yeah.
Yeah, even though you're right, it integrates like the whole red panda element into the story much better, and like how it integrates like puberty into that, and yeah, all that is a little better incorporated than just like throwing mermaids or whatever the hell into Luca. But
He wanted a motorbike, didn't he? That was his motivation.
yeah, Luca didn't really overstay its welcome for me, whereas this kind of did. It's like really trying to get you with like that ending. I think the ending kind of drags that like third act. It's this like constant fighting with the red panda and like the boy band singing. Like everyone comes in at the end to fight the mom panda or whatever.
That's where I would kind of start falling off, was the end section of that Colosseum
Interesting.
scene.
I was enjoying the ending part more than the beginning. I thought it was kind of fun.
I thought the beginning was much better.
Really?
No, that had much more of a unique style to me than the ending. It became kind of conventional, and yeah, it just went on too long.
I liked seeing the build up to that. I I thought that where they went with it was like pretty satisfying. I'm glad that it turned into this like crazy kaiju thing.
Yeah, that part was fun. Yeah, when the mom first comes out, that's great. Like that's a very funny reveal. But then, yeah, it just goes on too long. It just goes on for like fucking 15 minutes, I thought. At least it feels like it, maybe a little less.
Well, I like that the other family members join in too.
Yeah, that everyone becomes red pandas. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like everyone comes in,
which is funny because it almost like
when the boy band starts singing.
What's funny about it is it kind of makes the whole ritual pointless if they can just turn into like
too.
It's so you're not really locking it away forever if you can just break it open again and you can have it back. You're just making it so that you have more control over exactly when you do it. Really, but I didn't find most of the movie to be like funny. I found that most of the jokes I was like, not really for me. I did find it pretty funny when she stun locked her mom by twerking at her. I thought that was funny, just conceptually. Like, what are you doing?
Surprised by that. Yeah, she beats. That's how the final conflict is won over.
Just keep her in the
twerking.
circle. This is who I am, Mom. Yeah, I think it communicates what it's trying to pretty well. Yeah, inoffensive movie, wasn't blown away by it. Yeah, I guess 5 out of 10, closer to a 6 than a 4. Ludwig Göransson composed the score, so that was
I like the score.
Oh, cool. Yeah, there was some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah, a lot of interesting little
some
beats
electronic stuff in there.
Yeah, I like the movie. I liked it more than you, Adam.
Yeah,
I gave it a 6 out of 10. Yeah, so I like it more than you. I'm surprised you rated it so low.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't captivated by it the whole time. It was just it was inoffensive.
Yeah, it's inoffensive. Yeah, dealt with the subject matter pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, it was solid. I give it the same as you, a 3-star. There were points where I was enjoying it kind of at the level of like 3.5 or 7 out of 10, but just overall, just with that length, with how it's very clearly a family movie first and foremost. It's so there are certain caveats you have to give it, but I can't really recommend it like I would some of the like favorite Pixar movies or anything. Just with the premise, the way they execute on it, it's solid. I like it. I'd happily sit through it again one day. Not anytime soon, but
Yeah.
again,
probably
maybe
would.
one day.
How
Yeah,
would you
it's
compare
solid.
it to The Good Dinosaur?
Uh,
Oh Jesus! I've
I-
watched this 5 times.
they shouldn't.
before
They
that.
shouldn't be compared.
Yeah.
I
I'd say
always
that
forget about
and-
that one. Whenever you
yeah,
bring that movie
Good
up, I'm
Dinosaur
always
and Cars
shocked.
2. Yeah, those are the worst,
Yeah,
I'd
like,
say. Cars
God,
2 as well. Yeah.
What a dull movie.
Yeah. It's better than that, yeah.
Yeah, much better.
You want to move on to the movie recommendation?
Yes.
I guess it's
We-
time, Adam. It's your turn.
It's,
So
introduce. There's okay. There's a movie by the Kachowskis, and I'm gonna keep saying it that way. And it's based off of an anime called Speed Racer, and it's a movie that they made called Speed Racer. The main character's name is Speed Racer, which I was not expecting because I guess I've never seen the anime.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a first name Speed, last name Racer scenario.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, this little boy loves racing, and parents are like, Why is he so into cars?" As if they didn't name him that. And it's a very,
Speed.
very overstimulating film that feels more like a video game than an anime. What did you think?
Overstimulating. Yeah, God, that is the word for it. Holy God. Yeah, just a really strange movie all around. Why is it 2 hours 15 minutes long?
Yeah.
And why did they decide to try and pull this off in 2008? Those are like my two big things, because it's a live action adaptation of a cartoon from the 60s. I'm just like, I was so confused why they didn't. Well, I can understand why it's not animated, but it's like, even the same movie, if all the shots were the same, but it was just like good 2D animation or something, I think it would be okay. I think I'd be fine with it. I think it'd be funnier. I think what they were trying to do would work better. But there's something really lost in translation in trying to put forward this like green screen. Looks like The Amazing Bulk sometimes, or like I noticed the director of photography is the same as the Star Wars prequels, which was like,
That's a lot of green screen.
Yeah, especially for like the dialogue scenes where it's just like, oh my God, the green screens everywhere. It looks so fake, these backgrounds, and the general quality of the CG. I feel like it looks like 2008 CG. We weren't quite at that point yet where everything like looked photorealistic with the metal and the reflections and everything. And it's definitely not going for realism, but like it's still a live action cartoon with these just ridiculous race scenes with it just turns into an insane cartoon where everything's spinning around and they're just rubbery CG anyway. So I'm just kind of confused what the inception starting like inspiration point was for this, especially with how long it wound up being.
Well,
like a speed racer movie that's over 2 hours. What are you talking about? Isn't each episode like 20 minutes?
the Wachowskis were never shy about their love for anime. So what I think this is they're riding off of the success of The Matrix, and they could just get money to fund whatever they wanted. And they're like, yeah, let's do Speed Racer. And the studio is like, okay, you successful Matrix people. And then it happened.
Yeah. Because the anime influence is one of the great things about The Matrix, how they did manage to adapt that kind of storytelling into live action, into like a big blockbuster. But this is like going backwards from that point. Like trying to directly adapt to a cartoon that from the get-go, like is Speed Racer like a Godzilla tier franchise that has a huge fan base that are like pining for more entries of like new stuff? Like I don't know how even in like 2008 was Speed Racer like a big pull. It's like, man, the only link is the kind of anime thing.
I saw it when it came out. It was just marketed as a family movie, I think.
Which is even stranger. Like, do you think it has like a family appeal? Because I was reading that too, that they kind of assigned it and built it to be a family experience.
Well, yeah, with like the colors and there's like the kid character and the monkey that are thrown in like a lot in the film. I would say they're quite distracting and they take up a lot of the runtime. That's why the movie's 2 hours, like over 2 hours. There's so many characters in this film, like so much shit going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, like these hyper edited race sequences that go on for way too long as well. And yeah, there's just
So
like
much
a lot
motion.
going on in this film. Yeah, I don't remember anything about it from when I saw it, like when it first came out back in, was it 2008, right?
I don't remember anything
2008.
about it from when I
Okay.
saw it 2 days ago. So-
Yeah, well, because there's just so much plot. I remember it being very colorful and like having these crazy scenes, but I don't remember like the story or
Of
anything
course.
about, like, because it's very bland and whatever.
Yeah.
It's very formulaic in terms of just the look of the movie. I don't know. It looked like worse than like the Phantom Menace or Attack the Clones or something like that. It looked really cheap, and I guess it's trying to go for an anime. I guess that's what I was thinking also, but it doesn't feel like an anime. And I was thinking more so the performances, I guess, don't feel like they were influenced by anime. It didn't feel like the actors had seen anime or were in love with it. And I kept thinking of the film X, which just came out recently, and it's like a satire in a way of like horror slasher films, but it felt like the crew and the cast had seen movies like that,
Mm.
and they were like really
In on
mimicking
the
that
joke,
really
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yeah, like the actors did a good job of mimicking that kind of like how those characters would act and that kind of thing. And like, how much does John Goodman know about acting? Or not acting. Sorry, let me say it again. He knows a lot about acting. I'm going to say it again. How much does John Goodman know about anime? Like, not
Yeah.
much. I don't think he's seen a lot. And there's a lot of performances
know.
in this film that feel very confused. In that way, they just don't like feel like anime characters. They just feel like bad performances. That's how I thought of it. It was bad acting anyway. It's bad acting all around.
Yeah, I think some actors did better than others. Like for me, the movie actually picked up a little bit once the mustache twirling
Yeah.
British villain played by Roger Allam shows up. He kills it. He's awesome in this movie. He's just so ridiculous and over the top. I'm a fan of that guy. He's a really good character actor. I think
Like
I
the
first saw
other
him in the
business
thick of it.
guy. Like, I don't even know who he was. Just the guy who like.
Well, yeah, there's this whole
the guy who, like, runs the
corporate
company, I guess.
espionage thing going on,
Yeah,
and like
all that
the
shit was so
manipulating into
boring.
contracts, and yeah, it's weird considering if it wants to go for the family appeal, why did they not try and simplify it into a Cars 3 kind of story where it is just a simple race, there's like a simple conflict, is for families, this is Speed Racer, why does it need to go into like this like all this commentary on the nature of like money and power, and it's like it's a bit much for a Speed Racer movie, because it is, again, it's like 2 hours 15 minutes long. It doesn't match up to me. If the main hook is like it's races, it's these silly races, then
Yeah.
just do more of like there's a kind of a fun anime movie about like racing called
Mad
what's it
Max
called?
Fury Road.
No,
I
it's
know.
called like Frontline, Speedline, or something. It's
Oh,
been years since I saw it. I only just
know
remembered
exactly
it.
what you're talking
Fuck.
about.
The fuck's it called?
Red Line?
Redline, yeah, Redline, where it's kind of everything I'd want from like the concept of this movie, where it is like a stupid, over-the-top anime plot where it's like a sci-fi tinge of these silly cars and this dumb, over-the-top, like just ridiculous world with over-animated, really fun race scenes.
Yeah.
And the whole appeal is the 2D animation being like flexed in action scenes, basically in race scenes, and they just, when you convert that to live action in this way, it's too much.
Yeah, quote unquote.
There's flashes every now and again. In a couple of the races, there were like a couple points I rewound because I was like, that's kind of visually interesting. That's wacky, but Matt, for the most part, it's kind of a miss.
I think this film was a social experiment to see how much stimulation a person can handle in a theater environment.
Yeah, we need that eye tracker.
We were all the
software,
guinea
man.
pigs.
Yeah,
The eyes
it's-
are
It was
darting
probably
all over the
released in
place.
3D too. It was like 2008, right? Like that was like right when the
I think
fans-
that's the appeal for kids too. I feel like it's made for like kids who are hopped up on sugar. Like it's for fucking, like little kids who have
That's
like
how it
can
feels,
really
yeah.
handle that kind of like editing. Like every second there's a cut and like these hyper frantic race sequences. Maybe kids like that. I don't know. I feel like the Wachowskis really get a lot of leeway in Hollywood because they directed The Matrix. And like this is just like one where like it's like why would anyone make a 2.5 hour long Speed Racer movie when it's just there's nothing going on in this fucking movie. There's so many scenes of just like shot, reverse shot, fucking exposition, dialogue. It's so fucking boring. There's so many characters and like stuff you got to keep track of. The stuff with the brother wasn't interesting. Like the stuff with Racer X wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
That was hilarious to me.
That reminded me of
everything.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
The whole surgery
Racer
reveal
X.
was like one of the
And
comedy
like Racer
things
X
that
just shows
worked
up
for
at
me.
their house like at some point. Like what the fuck was that? Like
Yeah.
it just shows up. Yeah, it's like we don't know how to insert this character in the movie.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like it's the only way I could interpret that end reveal with the surgery thing. Where it's like, this is like a punchline. This is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they're like playing with the fact.
yeah.
It's just so stupid. But that was like something I was like, okay, I'll give you half a star for that. That's pretty funny.
So the reason I brought up Mad Max Fury Road is because I mean like that's a film where it doesn't really dick around what it's trying to be. What you remember from that film is going to be the action set pieces, and that makes up like the bulk of the film. It doesn't waste a whole lot of time in between.
It's a much better movie. Yeah.
I know, like this, even if even though the action set pieces in this film aren't as great, it would still be an improved film if that's just what it was, instead of like a lot of boring nonsense story dialogue in between. Like that really, really drags it down. If it was just this weird acid trip overstimulating thing, then I feel it would at least be doing a better job at what it's trying to market itself as and what the experience that it's claiming to give people.
Mad Max Fury Road, like that's really they use real cars in that and like real environments. Yeah. This movie looks like shit. Like all the CGI car chases look terrible. It looked like so dated.
Yeah, you can't get into it. It's so distractingly like rubbery and cartoony.
Maybe at the time it would have been cool, I guess, because there's a lot of light effects and reflections on the cars.
I don't know if it ever looked
cool at times. No, but not really.
I think that the like I'm going to keep using this word. I think that the overstimulating nature might have been appealing to people as kind of like oh, I wonder what this would be like to see an entire movie that's this fucking
it's trying
bonkers.
to capture the tone of that show, too, which I've never seen, but yeah.
I don't
think
feel
so.
like, well, the crazy-ass transitions that exist in this movie, I don't think those are from the show. I think there's a lot of liberty that they took with this film in terms of how they're presenting it. I don't think a lot of that's captured in the show. I've seen some clips from the show. I haven't seen the whole thing or anything. I haven't seen like a full episode. I definitely felt
it was trying to be anime-esque in the way. It wasn't done well. I'm not saying it was well done, but it was definitely in there somewhat. Even Turning Red incorporated anime into it somewhat. I was reading how the director, was influenced by anime. And I'm like, I see that.
But the times where I feel like there was an anime influence in this film, it felt like modern anime, which like Speed Racer is like what, from the 60s or some shit? Like they didn't do a lot of those like crazy like whoosh sweeping like camera move. Like it wasn't as crazy in terms of like style back then.
Are the Wachowskis like big fans of Speed Racer?
I would hope so.
I'm just not.
I think they were just trying to do a new thing with it.
I assumed that this was some kind of passion project. So I don't see why Speed Racer would be the anime you'd go to try and breach into like a broader audience. Apart from like the whole appeal of the cars and the racing aspect, but yeah, it's really confusing.
The Matrix is much better than this. Yeah. Very confusing why they'd make this.
Just a little.
It doesn't feel like the same directors.
It's such a weird movie because, like, not only why would you make this, but why would you make this long? That's the biggest question.
Yeah.
Make this movie. Don't make it 2 hours and 15 minutes. What the fuck? That's like so unnecessary.
Yeah. Once that out by the hour long point, it feels like you're kind of winding up to a conclusion, but that's just the beginning, pretty much. You're just getting into it.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, there's more races. You still got to do this.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like there's not much room. It's not like the property like deserves this huge like expansive runtime to explore all the deep ideas that Speed Racer was playing with. It's like Death Race. It's so ridiculous. They're like dueling with like robot arms that protrude out of the middle of the wheels of their cars. It's like ridiculous, and I'm okay with that. I like silly, goofy, over the top movies like Ricky O's or whatever, but it has to all feed into itself. Like, it can't be that runtime and maintain with like the stakes being that way. Like, you're not actually really engaged in the story or the characters that much. It's more the visuals and the humor, and that is exhausting. I'm exhausted after 10 minutes, if I'm being real.
Yeah,
with the style and the president, it's like it is visually fucking exhausting to watch.
Draining. It is such an exhausting experience. Yeah, I had some friends watching that suffered through with me. I kind of felt bad that I put it on by the end of it. I was like, fuck. They were expecting it to be over by now. And it's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if this movie was released now, if it would fare better, because I kept thinking about like Alita Battle Angel, right? It's kind of some similarities. It's like adapting like an anime, trying to falling into like similar pitfalls of like that kind of like crazy action. I was reminded of Spy Kids a bunch with this.
I think
the CG is slightly better now, so with Alita they can do the action and actually pull it off.
Yeah, I think with today's effects it would look a bit better.
Yeah.
Everything just has this weird sort of like Jello toy car feel to it, and it's like
and there's like something off about the fit. Well, your brain knows like vehicles moving at that speed, it just looks incorrect.
Yeah,
the motion of it, which just wouldn't be a problem if it was like even CG animated. If it was like a shiny CG animated, goofy, stylized animated movie, I would just be much more into it.
Yeah, Redline looks a lot better than this. I like that animation style. It's kind of unique.
Yeah, and even Redline, it like peaks in the first race, so like,
yeah,
it's just not it's not that inherently interesting.
I like how one of the characters' names was Spritle. It was like a if you took Squirtle and
the kid,
had him branded by the Coca-Cola bottling company or some shit, like
yeah,
what a weird name.
That kid was a kind of an annoying performance.
Yeah, I think he was in the Cat in the Hat movie.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that movie as well. That's another kind of like
brother.
It's trying to capture a like cartoonish,
crazy
animated,
colors,
like, children's book tone.
Right. That movie's I think a little more annoying than this one.
Oh, much more annoying than this one.
That movie's terrifying. That movie's like Uncanny Valley nightmare fuel.
Yeah, horrible.
It's what's funny is like both of these films. It's like they're so exaggerated with like the visual presentation, with the excuse being, oh, we're just trying to capture this other thing. But the other thing, the original property was never that over-exaggerated with, like, its presentation. Like, especially the colors. Like, in this film, they're, like, so aggressively oversaturated. Like, ignore all the CG. Just, like, a simple shot, like, in their kitchen. It's like, why is the color grading so fucking oversaturated? It's so aggressive. It's irritating to look at. It's like, ow. My eyes.
Yeah, the colors are annoying. It's too much. Too many colors. It's all, and it has no purpose to it. It's just constant different colors for no reason in the movie. Yeah. All different kinds of like crazy lighting.
Yeah, too many shots look like parody skits, like an SNL skit or something, where like they've just like the costume, they've just put it on for the first time. Everything looks like so pristine and artificial on that like green screen set. It's so fake. Cartoonish.
Yeah.
And when I say cartoonish, I don't mean in like the intended way that I think would work in a kind of... It's another film that kind of, in a way, shares similarities. Is like Scott Pilgrim. I think about like the fist fighting in the snow scene.
I was thinking about
in
that
Speed
too.
Racer, where of course it devolves into there's not just like racing action sequences. They're actually like fist fighting. The whole family's getting involved. And just using like the crazy visual effects, it just works a lot better in something like Scott Pilgrim, where it feeds into like the video game theme, just implementing visual effects in a way that complements the story instead of just like overwhelming you, just shoving colors everywhere, just motion all the time.
Yeah,
yeah, it's really overbearing. If those visual effects weren't so dated, I might have enjoyed the film a little more. But it's. Especially from like how I remembered it. I remembered it looking a little better. I think that's because I was a kid, because that's maybe the best they could do at the time. But yeah, it doesn't hold up really today.
Yeah,
like,
people's expectations for computer
they just look like
shit.
Yeah,
just as it
definitely.
improves.
They just look like shit. Yeah, I can't even say it's paying homage to anything. Like it just looks. And,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like an anime. It just looks weird and bad, like way too colorful. Yeah, and there's no reason for most of these colors in the film. It's just because it feels like an anime. Like that's the reason.
I have no idea.
Like that's the justification for most things in this movie.
It's an
'Cause
experiment.
an anime. Like
It's some sort
Yeah.
of weird test they're doing on humanity.
yeah,
That fucking that like Segway chase scene with Spritle and like the monkey or whatever, like
Oh, the purple
the
buggy thing.
fuck
Yeah, I know
was
that
going
down.
on there?
Maybe
That
maybe the
was
worst
so
shot in the
crazy.
movie. That was atrocious looking.
That was insane.
Yeah, that looked like the Amazing Bulk. That
and like
looked-
the hallway. or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
yeah.
that does feel like the
I
Amazing
hated
Bulk.
those effects. Yeah.
I love that this was in a period in time, and I remember it very well because I worked at the largest mall in Canada during this time, when Segways were like starting to become a bit of a fad, and people were like selling
Oh,
them
yeah.
at kiosks and shit. It was all just a big scam, really, trying to convince other people, like, oh, this is what people will be using because this is a future thing. You don't have to, blah, 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 blah. And like, all the thing is just like, this will never, like, where do you put it when you're at your destination? It's so big and clunky and so impractical. Like, it's huge. What are you going to do with it when you get to your destination? Now nobody uses them. Closest thing that people we have is like those hoverboards, which makes a bit more sense because you can just put it in your backpack or like the one wheel or something. Like, when you get to your destination, you don't have to worry about where you put your fucking Segway. But yeah, I love that it just managed to sneak its way into this film because of it being in 2008. Like, oh, there's this factory. Everyone has
Yeah.
Segways. Like, okay.
Because that's the future.
Yeah. Unintentionally dating it in the past by including that in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, just a bunch of interesting creative choices here. Like, how did you feel about in the kind of intro sequence where Speed races the Mario Kart like ghost of his brother? Kind of weird.
It was an interesting choice. It was weird. Very video gamey. It's like trying to do like another lap in one of those racing games, and you see your ghost. You're like, oh, I want to beat my time.
Yeah. Well, like right at the end, before the big kiss, the payoff kiss, the little kid green screened in front.
Yeah, that was
Cootie
lame.
warning everybody. It's like, what? You haven't done anything really like this in the previous couple hours. It's strange that you're just throwing this in at the end. But
Yeah, this
Okay.
one's for the kids who don't like cooties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said out loud, like, that's not funny. Why is that there?
I remember that part from when I first saw it. I was like,
yeah,
yeah.
it grinds everything
add
to a halt to
anything.
make sure you
Mhm.
engage with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Christina Ricci's in the movie. I totally forgot. Yeah, she was terrible. Yeah, everyone was terrible. I mean,
Yeah,
the Speed
really.
Racer character was such like a non-part of the film. I felt like there's so many other characters and so much other shit going on. I felt like
Yeah,
Speed Racer
he's
was
so
like
boring
barely
and
in it.
uninteresting.
And that
Yeah.
the actor really didn't bring anything to that part. I was trying to look up if he did anything like great after.
It's not really a character movie.
No, but even like the main character is such like a non-part of it.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy to me.
Which is, again, another reason to just cut out the fucking dialogue scenes, make a fan edit of just the racing scenes. You'll get like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
weird like 40-minute movie or whatever. But like it would be a better movie.
The actor who's in this, he's also in Midnight in the Switchgrass with Bruce Willis.
Oh wow. Yeah.
He's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's right.
Into the Wild.
Yeah, he's been in, but that's like before this, like after Speed Racer. I'm
Killed
trying
it.
to see if he like really did.
Killed his career.
Kind of. Well, he's in Lone Survivor. He's in Darkest Hour, which is bad. He's in Killer Joe. He's in Milk. Oh no, Milk is before, or Milk is the same year. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of feels like after this he didn't really do much.
The Wachowski curse.
In terms of being the main star anyway. I mean, he's been in good movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, also yeah, never mind. I was going to make a claim and I fact checked it and it's not accurate. So, never mind.
Oh yeah. He's Jay Sabring or whatever. He's Sharon Tate's like other husband or boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Husband, boyfriend, yeah. That's right. He was in that. Okay. But yeah, aside from that, like he hasn't done much, right?
There seem to be like enough of people that consider this to be like a cult classic kind of movie. Like There's enough people
Really?
that like this,
Yeah.
apparently.
I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen like it's it's considered one of those.
I don't believe it.
It's got
Well,
a whole fan base.
Here's how I can rationalize it.
It is a
It's very
3.3,
unique.
yeah.
So if this is the
The
type of
ratings
thing you
all-
like, you're not going to get it anywhere else because there's not really another movie like it. So
But there are.
Yeah,
not really, no.
There are at this point.
Not
now
like
there's
this.
Turning Red and Scott Pilgrim.
No, those
So
are
no.
completely different.
This is like such a bad movie. I feel like it's
There's
aged
nothing
so poorly.
That is this level of overstimulating and wacky. Like that scene where they're I forget the environment they were driving. One of the racing scenes where the camera's just like super quick pan into like the other driver's seat and then back whoop whoop like crank zoom kind of, but like
sure,
just done
maybe
digitally.
during
Like
the action scenes, like during the action sequences, sure, but most of the film, like
oh yeah, I can
you've
see
been
why someone
saying,
would
it's,
like it for the
boring,
action scenes.
shot
is what I'm
reverse
saying.
shot, yeah, just
Yeah.
for the action scenes.
If you
yeah,
ignore
like,
the
that's
other
it.
scenes,
That's such a small.
Yeah,
well, that's not a
just
small
skip
part of the film,
around.
but that's a part of the film. There's all this other shit going on in this film that isn't interesting. Like,
I
cult
agree.
classic, all right. It's not, yeah, and it looks really bad. Like I feel like so many people they're just like going off their memory of like the movie and not like actually just watching it now. Like if you watched it right now, you would be like, "Holy shit, this looks like fake as hell." It does. It looks fake. It's not
Yeah,
convincing.
it's shockingly
it
aged.
does.
for
Yeah.
It does.
2009.
And we have Mad Max Fury Road, like that has real cars in it, like real car chases. Like that's pretty stimulating. It's about as stimulating as you can get with real cars.
I still think that there are some admirable qualities to it. Not good qualities, but admirable
Uh-huh.
in a sense, because like you could really tell that they were trying to do something crazy and unique and weird with this movie. You can really tell that they were like, yeah, we're gonna make this fucking piece of shit. You know, like it hadn't been done before, really, to this degree or anything. Like,
That's a good attitude to have.
yeah, you could tell that they were like really
Yeah.
into it.
I'm not sure if the tech was quite there yet. It's like if it reminds me of like when you hear about James Cameron talking about, oh, I've wanted to make an Avatar for like so long. Like if he tried to make it in the 90s, like what it would have looked like, or how it would
Yeah,
have come
But this
together.
came out in
Like,
2008. Avatar was the year after, right? It's like looks much better.
true.
shit, yeah, I didn't even think about that. It's only a year between it.
Yeah, like that same year is like I was thinking movies that came out that year that had great effects. Like Iron Man came out that year. Not as many effects maybe, but it had a lot of effects and like that subtle approach worked for it. Like you don't need as many effects shots. Every every shot in this movie has like some kind of effect in it or something.
Yeah, true.
And it also has the crutch of like we're trying to look cartoony, therefore, you know.
Therefore, it doesn't have to look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like weird transitions I didn't like, and like green screen moments I thought looked fake. Yeah, it just wasn't very convincing. Yeah, everything looks too clean, too polished, like you were saying. It's too artificial. There's no like grit to it. I think it like the original Star Wars, like much grittier and dirtier because they filmed in like real locations. I don't think there is a real location in this movie aside from like a couple sets, like wherever they were staying, like the house or whatever, like just some offices and like that's it. You know, like very minimal, like a lot of green screen. Those race sequences just have no tension to them unless you're like a kid. Because it's just like nothing
zero
at
tension.
stake. It's just a bunch of visual effects.
It's just
Like
stimulation.
Fake as
That's
fuck.
it. I don't
Yeah.
care about who wins the race. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means nothing to me.
Yeah, it seemed like they were more interested in showing off the sound effect of the main car when it jumped. That seemed like, was that like an intentional reference to the show or something? They were doing it too much, and that sound effect was like
Maybe.
too
Probably,
specific.
Yeah.
I
They played the
guess
theme
none of
song
us
at
are
the end,
Speed
I
Racer
think.
like mega fans or anything.
Yeah.
So.
I think at the credits they were playing that theme song. Like that was the Speed Racer theme song, I believe. Yeah, I don't
There
even
was
know.
like a pop song like thing at the end in the credits that it was like a modernized version.
Yeah,
But the
nice.
Michael Giacchino, is that how you say his name? I've never known how you say his like Giacchino. You know the guy who
Cappuccino?
did like the
I
Spider-Man
think it's
soundtrack.
Giacchino. I think that's how you said it in
Giacchino.
the Spider-Man video.
Yeah, but he did the soundtrack for this, and I mean, yeah, he took the original theme and ran with it. But
The music wasn't bad. There were some tiny elements of it that I
yeah, it was
liked.
fine. It was all it needed to be.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst part. I'd like to direct your attention towards a link I posted in the chat. It's a YouTube video. It's like 10 seconds long. It's called "He's Going Over That Cliff."
Oh, I might have seen this before.
Yeah, can you click on that and just react to it for me?
Fuck. You sure that's not a clip from the movie? I wish there was more of that in the movie. So if it's just 90 minutes of that, but as a movie, I'd be fine with it.
I love that scream so much. The microphone peeking. Yeah. If you're listening to this podcast, please search up "He's Going Over That Cliff" on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a real guttural.
And just how quickly he says it after. Yeah. That's the extent of my knowledge with Speed Racer, basically.
Yeah,
Is that
mine's
clip.
similar. Just random clips.
But I've seen that clip enough times. That's probably a full episode's worth, so. Yeah, it's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it really captures
No.
that
Yeah, nowhere close.
because that's entertaining. Yeah,
I would have loved a kind of dated style with this movie. I would have loved for it to capture more of like that era and have like a weird soundtrack that
Yeah.
sounded like, trumpets and dated orchestra stuff.
It could have just been a short film. It could have just been like a short film with
Yeah.
like a bunch of car chases and then like that's it. Like because there's no story really here that
Yeah,
needed to be told aside from that. Aside from the visuals,
an
right?
expensive short film.
Yeah, because the story here is just in service of visuals, of cool CGI, which isn't that good looking even.
Yeah, I wonder if this made money. I think it might have like broke even or something, or maybe a bit of flop. Let's see.
Yeah, I was always under the assumption it was a flop.
Yeah, it didn't even. Okay, yeah, $120 million budget, and then Wikipedia lists the box office as $93.9 million. Oof. Is that the first
They
Wachowski
still went
flop?
on to make.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, they still went on to make movies after, like, just because
Yeah.
they directed The Matrix. Like,
The Matrix?
it's crazy.
It
You
does
have
it.
like one, like M Night Shyamalan. Like, you have one success in your career, you can like just get by on that, I guess, for a long time.
Yeah. Unbreakable was at least successful enough that it had made interest in the sequel sort of thing, but
That was good too. Yeah, I like Cloud Atlas. Okay, I mean,
Sixth Sense was successful also.
No, it's not a perfect movie. I would like to rewatch that one, Cloud Atlas. Maybe I won't like it as much now.
Oh, so this was their first movie after the Matrix trilogy was finished.
Yeah, unless you count V for Vendetta, which they didn't direct.
Oh yeah, they
produced,
didn't
I
direct
like
that, did they?
movie too.
That's good. That's a good movie,
Screenplay
but-
by the
Yeah, that's a
Wachowskis
really good
is what it
movie.
says.
That's a good movie for sure.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in forever.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't seen Sense
Yeah, they're
8.
always
Apparently
ambitious.
people like that, so.
Oh yeah, that's a Netflix show.
Yeah.
How about Jupiter Ascending?
I
Is
love
this
it.
as bad
It's
as that?
it's really funny.
Jupiter Ascending is at least funnier. Like there's parts of that movie I remember, like Eddie Redmayne's acting,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is just like I don't know. It's just like chaotic, crazy colors and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't even remember anything about it. Yet.
Jupiter Ascending is much more funny.
Jupiter Ascending is like bad scenes in it that are really funny.
Yeah, Jupiter Ascending is funny, but it's like failing at something different for different reasons. It's like trying to be like a epic space opera, whereas Speed Racer
Yeah.
is just like kind of confusing, a confusing creative endeavor all around. Yeah, to go Speed Racer, Cloud Atlas, Jupiter Ascending, that is a interesting trilogy of films because Cloud Atlas is also incredibly ambitious, but that's based on one of those hard to adapt novels, like crazy ambitious novels, and it doesn't come together from memory either.
Yeah.
Like Tom Hanks like playing, isn't he like playing all different like races or something, different ages? There's all sorts of weird shit going on.
Yeah, everybody is in this weird Asian face makeup. It's
Yeah, it's
kind of
crazy
like
movie,
weird.
yeah.
It feels
Yeah,
inappropriate.
So
it's been a while. I haven't seen it since
Yeah.
2012.
It's a
but
weird
I remember
movie.
that.
So bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody did Asian face. It was very strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wachowski's, geez. I mean, I guess I've seen them all now except Sense 8. And I guess their first film, Bound, which would be an interesting one to check out, I guess.
Yeah, interesting selection of movies for sure. All over the place. All of them pretty ambitious though. I'll give them that.
True. Yeah, you got to have some respect for them just being fucking crazy.
They never got like lazy or anything like that. Yeah, it's always just nutty and out there. which is what you want. That's what you need.
Stupid. They have so many bad movies.
But yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. They don't have the best track record. Like the Matrix sequels aren't great.
Even their bad movies are always kind of a fun train wreck, except that the new Matrix one,
Always interesting.
which was joyless.
That was really boring. Yeah. But this is kind of joyless for me too. Like I was really losing interest in it. I'm like, I remember liking it as a kid, kind of, but who gives a shit? I was a stupid kid. Like this is just a bunch of fucking boring scenes with colors, and like nothing is fucking happening. Like literally nothing interesting happened the whole fucking movie.
Most of this film was joyless, but I did like, every once in a while I'd be like, "What the fuck?" and just have experiencing that "what the fuck" moment.
Yeah.
Of like, what is,
my
or what are you doing like on the screen right now? Those are fun.
Yeah, but that's more meta, I think.
Yeah.
This could have been a fun short film. Like, I just cut it down to 5 minutes. Just a bunch of colors. And
5-minute short film.
And people would have loved it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Just like a 3 episodes, 20 minutes each. Like some stupid mini series thing. That would have been the approach. Cause
imagine watching this movie on like 2 times speed. Like how crazy.
God. Yeah.
You would get a headache.
I wouldn't. It would be difficult to tell what's going on.
Yeah, it would be impossible. I don't think you can watch it in 3D. I think it would be too much for your brain to handle.
Yeah, this is
it's too much.
If someone were ever to discover that they have epilepsy, this might be a film that triggers
them. It would give you epilepsy.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't expect to be reminded of like a Gaspar Noé movie, like watching this. With like the flash.
Interesting, yeah. Interesting comparison.
Oh, and just the final blast from the past kind of thing you were saying about with like aging it with the segue and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Matthew Fox just being in there just made me think about like Lost being the equivalent of like, it was basically the Game of Thrones of like that kind of era. Just a bunch of the actors from it just were showing up in that time, even if it wasn't necessarily like because of their acting ability or anything. It's just because they were in the biggest show at the time.
Flavor of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, I didn't think anyone was particularly good in the movie. John Goodman, I didn't think was good.
Well, he's a good man.
Susan Sarandon, I didn't think was good either.
No. Nobody nailed it. Nobody hit it out of the park.
It's that dialogue, that script. Like, it's what you're supposed to do with. They got nothing to work with.
Yeah, they're just not good.
Oh. I saw the film Vantage Point. That's why I recognized Matthew Fox. I didn't see much else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad movie.
Oh, dear.
That fucking monkey and the kid were really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah. That was a weird, like, constant comedic relief kind of shit that was just didn't need to be in there.
It's just thrown in there for kids. Like, this is a kid's movie, I guess. So it's just throwing a kid and a monkey.
Monkey, fun.
Well, yeah, I assumed it was like a reference to the cartoon. It seemed like, I guess there's a monk. Oh, yeah, I just went on the Speed Racer wiki. Chim Chim. I guess it's like a thing in the cartoon, so they had to have Chim Chim in there. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a Speed Racer movie. And there was like some allegations of like some chimp mishandling.
I think if there's an animal in a movie, they're probably being abused.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a US Today article. This is the headline. PETA not monkeying around with Speed Racer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so apparently allegations that the chimp was beaten. Holy shit. Yeah. I partly thought that's why you recommended it, Adam, because you maybe wanted to talk about this. But yeah, apparently there's like some animal cruelty behind the film, behind the scenes of this movie. Like, and that was kind of bizarre, like, because I had heard about that, like, I guess in between my viewings.
Yeah.
And like watching it this time, it's such like a fun, like lighthearted film, and like everyone's smiling. Like I was thinking at the end when like Speed Racer wins, everyone's cheering. But like just the behind the scenes of this film was like an animal getting abused. I was like, oh my god, like this is so fucking
That's Hollywood for you.
It's horrible, yeah.
The whole fucking city is like is depressing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The fucking Hollywood, the LA is just a gigantic facade. So
yeah, it's like really disturbing to like read about, especially for this kind of movie, watching it and it being so
it's really sad.
Yeah. And I don't think the chimp really added much to the movie. Like, it wasn't funny.
No, with all that CG, like, come on, just CG the ape at that point. Just do a cartoon, then you don't have to like abuse a real chimp.
At this
It's
point,
fine.
right?
Yeah.
Everything else is a cartoon. Just make the chimp a cartoon.
Yeah.
And like I usually say, like get a real animal, but like that's for like a dog or like some animal you can train. Like maybe a chimp is like that's a little hard for a chimp. I can't think of that in like any other film that I've seen anyway.
Yeah, I guess the chimp CG wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah,
Just had to be patient.
I guess not.
Yeah, the
Instead of the
segue
Matrix,
scene
if they made
CG
this.
that was perfected.
I think of Roar. I think of Hangover 2. There was like a monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, never like a chimp. Yeah, it's so strange.
Well, I'm giving this one a 4 out of 10. It's ambitious and admirable in some senses. It doesn't fucking work. It's unique and bizarre, overstimulating. Not for me. Kind of dumb piece of shit, but I like that they're crazy. So
Dumb piece of shit. That's like the best way to describe it. Dumb piece of
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, I was anticipating to be the one like harshest on this, but I actually think I like it the most out of us two.
Nice.
Just for the humor, just for the I do appreciate that over the top nature of it, and there's just it is unique. You're not going to find this experience from anything else. What you a 2008 adaptation of Speed Racer, like, okay, it's just like so specific, so random, so many bizarre creative decisions. I was intrigued and interested, but as far as the rating's concerned, I'm gonna give it 2.5 star. Down the middle. It's you should at least watch it once if you don't mind getting a headache.
Yeah, I don't know. Intriguing. Sure. Like the attempt is intriguing.
Yeah.
I think there's better movies that have done this since, like Mad Max, like all the movies we mentioned, Mad Max, Scott Pilgrim. That I didn't make excuses for it this time. Seeing it, like, yeah, I liked it as a kid, but like this time, it's been so long. Like I didn't even rate it on Letterboxd. It's been so long since I'd seen it, and yeah, I did not enjoy it. It's just like really hollow, and yeah, way too much, just way too many shots, way too much CGI and colorfulness, and it's just obnoxious.
Yeah.
Probably like a 3 out of 10 or a 4 out of 10, somewhere like that. You know, I'm gonna go 4 out of 10. I'll go with Adam. 4 out of 10 or
Okay.
2 out of 5.
Mhm.
That's my rating.
Dank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad we finally saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The curiosity is now quenched.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am no longer curious about Speed Racer.
Well, you don't want to go back and you could just go back and watch all the old series, like with Kimber. Do you not want to do that?
I think I'm good.
Mm-hmm. This never really made me want to visit Speed Racer.
Yeah.
Like, which I think
No,
was the
if anything, it
intention,
just
and
made me
never did.
confused as to like, so what was it about Speed Racer that really inspired you? The sound effect of the car jumping? Was it the theme? Is that what sold you on it? Like, what part of this? The design of the car? Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, who fucking knows? Who fucking knows? It'd be interesting to see some like behind the scenes of the Wachowskis talking about it. Actually,
Yeah, there's probably an interesting commentary if there is one on the
Yeah.
Blu-ray or something.
All right, it's question time now.
Okay, let's do some questions from the Sardonicast community. If you want to leave your own questions for us to answer in the future, head over to the subreddit where there's a suggestion thread. You can ask us whatever you feel like. Just like OK Negotiation 3396 did. They've got an interesting one, a fairly deep one here. Saying, as critics, what do you think about Ego's speech at the end of Ratatouille? Especially the part where he says, but the bitter truth we critics must face is that in the grand scheme of things, the average piece of junk is more meaningful than our criticism designating it so. What do we think? It's one of my favorite parts of that movie. It's a brilliant speech from the
Yeah.
critic character towards the end.
Yeah, I relate with it. Meaning is subjective. It's, you give meaning to whatever you decide to give meaning, really. So it can be true for some people and not true for others. I think that creating art is, something that is, I guess, I'm not going to say inherently positive because there's a lot of pieces of art that I do not find to be positive, but something that I personally value. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, expressing yourself or whatever.
exactly.
As far as what the scene is trying to say, I like how it's kind of like reminding the critic. It's like to remind yourself that maybe there isn't some level of like objectivity to all of this, because that's what wins him over, isn't it? It's the emotion, the nostalgia of eating that meal that reminds him of his childhood, and it's grounding for him. It brings him back and kind of brings up his strengths and weaknesses, like as a person. And you got to always remember that if you're in that kind of position, like that character is.
I think also it's important to remember the perspective of like, no matter how hard anyone, including myself, shits on a movie or any piece of art in terms of criticism, I'm just relating my experience with it, right? And nothing I say about a film or any other piece of art should prevent someone who loves it from enjoying it. So like anybody can say Adam, the Holy Mountain's a piece of shit. That doesn't stop me from enjoying it, right? Like, and it's especially when you break it down into the creator of said piece of art. Like, if it really means something to them, you can't take that away from them. Like, it doesn't matter what somebody thinks of my album. I didn't make it for other people. I made it for myself, right? So, in that sense, yeah, like it's entirely true. Like the words of a critic can't really diminish what art means to the person that it's made for.
But it's also not to say that criticism cannot be its own form of art and expression.
Of course.
Like on the inverse. Because I think, especially with how like nebulous it is now with social media, with YouTube, like it kind of means something else. It can mean something more personal, or the stuff you find on YouTube is different to like a Mark Kermode review in like The Guardian. It's dealing with different, less like definitive structures.
Yeah, like if you're following a critic, whether it's Mark Kermode or a YouTuber, like you're following a personality. You're following someone's journey and experience through different pieces of art and how it communicates with them, and you're learning more about the person. It should be about in my perspective, it's always been about the person and not as much about like creating some sort of like objective standard for people to adhere to about a piece of art.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't have much else to add to that. So we can move on to the next question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Iron Fist Ben has one for us. Are movie tie-in video games dead? What movies, recent or not, do each of you think would spawn a great video game adaptation?
Oh,
do you guys remember these?
Oh, yeah, that used to happen all the time.
Like every movie would have like a made in literally 4 months, like some poor dev team like under Activision would shit out like a like a tie-in
that
game.
I think maybe that was just because people like what was it called, like window shopped or whatever, like you browse the aisle.
Yeah.
But now nobody does
whatever the cover
stores anymore. So you can't just be like, oh, they made a Ratatouille game? Like, sure, they can advertise it for people, but
there probably is a Ratatouille game.
I guarantee you there's a Ratatouille game.
I love movie tie-in games. Like, I love them. I play them, like, on emulators.
I finally beat the thing, by the way.
Even if they suck. Oh, you did? Did you like
cool.
the ending?
It was very difficult to beat, and what they expected out of the player was borderline unreasonable, but I still enjoyed it for what it was.
How long did it take, the whole thing?
I'm gonna spoil this, by the way. So spoilers for the Thing game. I'm sure you two don't care, but this is for the audience.
Yeah, I don't care.
Kurt Russell shows back up at the end and saves the main character in a helicopter. Or Kurt Russell's character, anyway.
They give you the answer. But...
Yeah, which is really funny. I mean, like early on in the game, you see a dead body that's clearly supposed to be a child, or And so then, they just reveal like, oh, okay. And what's funny about that is like, I love how open-ended. We were all talking about the Thing recently, which is why I started playing this. We all love how open-ended the ending is of the original film and how interpretable it is. And so it's funny that John Carpenter himself had such glowing things to say about the video game, and he says he considers it to be like the official sequel. And so John Carpenter considers that, like, I guess, the canon ending, which is funny. There's a lot of dumb bullshit that happens in the video game, but
He's one. He's like vocal on Twitter about like video games he likes and stuff. I swear I saw him like tweeting about Halo, Infinite, or something. Yeah. It's wacky to see that.
Let's see if I can find the quote. It's yeah, here we are. The quote on the back of the Xbox case. This is one intense action/horror game. You gotta play this one, man. It'll blast you against the wall. Quote from John Carpenter.
Does it really say you gotta play this one, man?
Which is really funny.
Is it phrased exactly?
Yeah. It literally says, you gotta play this one, comma, man, dash, it'll blast you against the wall.
A very candid
John
quote,
Carpenter.
but I like it.
This thing I'm making money off of, you'll love it. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Movie tie-in game. What was the question?
God,
just what we think about.
oh,
Oh yeah, if there's a game that could be released of a
if there's
movie.
movies, any movies
like a
you want
recent
made
movie.
into games. Like I have so many great ideas. I would get way more creative with it too. Like I don't just want like Disney movies. I want like I don't know. This is Spinal Tap or like horrible bosses, like crazy. Like make one
just
of my
something
movies.
weird
like,
and meta?
Lover the game. Yeah, like King Candy the game. Just like crazy. No, just like really difficult concepts to like, do.
I think I
like,
told you
make
there
into
was
a
supposed to
game,
be an Antichrist PC
like
game.
Office
that got
Space.
canceled.
Yeah, like Antichrist. Like make
Yeah.
that into a game. Yeah, like
Yeah,
all these
you
really
could do like
difficult I don't know why there isn't a market for it anymore.
what flashes into my mind is like you could do something cool with like The Lighthouse. You could do like a horror game. It's like the same day repeating. You're doing
Hell yeah. Point and
Yeah.
click. Some shit like that. Yeah.
I would just make every movie into a game. I would just take
Yeah.
every movie.
Every
'Cause
movie.
I would just
is a game
enjoy it.
now.
Yeah. I would enjoy that, even if it's like short.
There was a movie I saw in theaters. I think it was called Uncharted. That could make a cool game.
Yeah, there's loads of room there to a whole trilogy.
Yeah.
Whole quadrilogy.
Yeah, maybe change around the actors.
Are there any others that you've played? Like
any
video
other
game
movie
based
tie-in
on
games? Hell
movies?
yeah! I've been trying to do more of those. I'll keep buying all these shitty looking ones because people watch that on my channel because I'm the movie guy and I have a gaming channel. So it's like, okay, some people are gonna watch. Yeah, if there's a movie title, then more people are gonna be clicking on it. I played the Reservoir Dogs one. It was really funny and dumb. It was really
Like that's the kind of thing I want.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna play that.
recommend.
Right now,
Yeah, I'll recommend the Reservoir Dogs game to you. It's silly and funny.
Yeah.
Some good Connect
Yeah.
games if you want movie times.
Oh hell yeah! I bought a bunch of really shitty ones. I haven't played them yet. I'll do that.
I
want
to play that the Sopranos game. You know, there's that.
Yeah, I
Sopranos
bought that
game.
one. I
wanna
haven't
play
played it
that
yet.
one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it really was kind of like a specific generation again around like 2008
Mhm.
or whatever. Where it's like everything has a game.
Yeah, I don't know why it stopped. You know,
miss
like there
it.
were a lot of Hulk games because like
Oh,
whenever
yeah?
a Hulk movie would come out.
Oh, like Ultimate
Yeah, so-
Destruction, yeah. Hell
yeah, that was good. I've played a few of those.
There's
yeah,
a
they're
fuck
good.
ton of
They're
Spider-Man
better than the
games.
movies because it's
Yeah,
like
that one
fun
is
playing as the
better.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun playing as the Hulk because you get to destroy shit. Like you blow up buildings or whatever. Like that's fun. Yeah, and the Spider-Man ones are good.
Yeah, we'll see. I have sitting next to me right now, and I haven't played it. Barnyard, that Nickelodeon film. There's a PS2
I've played
game.
that.
Fuck.
I've played that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've played that a
God,
lot.
Jesus.
It's an open world game, so yeah, I've put hours
Yeah.
into that as a kid. Way too much. You could ride around as a bike or on a bicycle, like
Oh,
as a
that's
cow.
funny. I have
Barnyard
Nightmare Before
open
Christmas,
season.
Oogie's
Ugh.
Revenge. I haven't
I don't
played
have
that
that.
yet. Avatar the game is apparently not bad at all. And I think we're
Yeah,
getting
I
a
remember
sequel to the
hearing that was
game
okay.
before
Played
the
some of
sequel
that.
to the movie's out.
Really?
I played some of that.
I believe that's
The
happening.
articles
Yeah.
are starting to ramp up for Avatar 2. I'm starting to see them more. Talking about, we're underwater and we're really nailing the effects and everything this time.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
don't care. Just fucking release it.
I know, it's like, oh my god.
Don't even release a
2000
trailer. Just fucking get it out already.
Yeah, just put it out on Disney
Who gives a
Plus.
shit? If the trailer for the new Avatar is not in 4K, I'm gonna be so mad. Nobody ever releases trailers in 4K.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Because they don't want you to see the unfinished effects they're still working on.
Mhm.
Oh, I played the Saw games. Those are really silly.
Oh, yeah. I played those too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of Lost, I played the Lost game a little bit.
Mm.
It was like on Xbox
Lost
360.
the
That was weird
game.
and bad.
Mhm.
Yeah. I remember like the PS2 like movie tie-in games, they'd have like clips of the movie in it as like a reward for like finishing a level. Then it would like play
Oh, yeah?
like 20
Mhm.
seconds of the movie.
They filmed like new
remember
live
that.
action scenes for the Enter the Matrix game. There's like live action
Oh,
scenes
really?
with like some of the side characters. I think like Niobe and someone else in the Enter the Matrix game. Yeah, there's live action scenes that I think the Wachowskis filmed.
I saw the like YouTube video of them showing off that like Unreal technology, but I didn't quite understand like what the product was or what they were trying to like.
I think it was
actually
just
say
a
with it.
tech demo. I guess it wasn't
Okay.
a video game. I thought it was the other time I mentioned it. I have no idea what that was about. Whatever.
Okay, so I'll cast it on as one for us. Do you guys own any house plants, and if so, how often do they die?
My mom has made many attempts to get me to care for a plant, and they have all been unsuccessful. I apologize. It's not my thing.
I've been trying to get into it more and more. I got into it around first lockdown was when I first realized I don't have enough plants around me. Yeah, it's fun. But like I'm pretty shit at it. I've had a few die on me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad at it.
Do you like house plants, Ralph?
I
Purify
don't
that
really pay
air,
much
add some
attention.
greenery?
I'm a good dog owner, not a good plant owner. I think
Both are
No.
just too much time and effort for me.
I don't think I have any plants.
I
in my
don't
house.
like. Yeah, I'm not interested in like a pet or a plant.
Mhm.
Like fuck.
There's something like hobbity about it, therapeutic about it. It's quite nice.
I get
Yeah,
it. I'm
I
not
totally
trying to
get
knock
it.
on people
Yeah.
that like it. But
Both like I get it.
I just I have so many other things going on that I'm like, I'll have a moment of like, oh fuck, I haven't watered the plant in a year or something. Like time just I get real synecdoche about it, and
sure.
things die.
By the time I notice, it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have your little synecdoche like Zen garden. Yeah, like a little replica
like,
of
oops.
yours.
Yeah. Maybe in my 40s I'll take care of a plant. We're only 10 years
Okay.
away. 9 years almost. Just over 9 years away from my 40s.
Fuck.
Whatever.
Akamani56 says, I recall Adam and Alex saying they enjoyed season 1 of Euphoria. How did you guys feel about season 2? Have you checked out season 2 yet, Adam?
I've checked out about half of season 2. I was watching a bunch of episodes
interesting.
like long distance with my boyfriend, and we were just syncing the start of it. And then I got pretty busy, and now he's coming over, and I feel like I'll probably finish the rest of it at some point this week. So, because he'll be in town.
Oh, okay. Well, I finished it, but I'm curious what your thoughts are that far through it.
It doesn't. I mean, I think season 1 felt like it had more
It's more
of like a
streamlined.
narrative. Yeah, like it was a bit more well structured as a whole, from what I could tell.
Yeah, definitely.
Season 2 seems to be just like, oh, we're just still going and we're just creating things in this universe, but it doesn't have as much of a through line from what I understand. I'm still enjoying it though. I like the tone. I like the way it's shot. I like characters in it. It's got a good energy. So yeah, it's not terrible or anything. I'm
There are
enjoying
a couple
it.
really standout episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay.
Mhm.
It's I'm kind of with you. I won't
Yeah.
spoil anything, but yeah, it's not like the first season.
I haven't abandoned it yet. We'll see how it goes.
Let's do this one then. From Unashamedly Amateur. Are there any films considered to be cult classics that you don't get on with or get at how or why they gained the cult following to begin with?
Speed Racer. Does that even count? Like,
I'd say it counts.
yeah, Speed Racer is a good answer. But what do you guys think?
Any S. Craig Zoller film, who directed Bone Tomahawk, Brawl in Cell Block 99. Yeah, there's people that love his films. I just, well, they're not good for me. Really not into them.
The one that's always bothered me is that I stumbled across like the Sucker Punch fan base once.
Oh yeah.
I was like, because I didn't
Bob.
didn't want to believe it was real. Because it wasn't like a big movie. I remember it kind of flopping at the time. It was before like the R-rated like movies like that were crazy successful, the big comic book type shit. But man, that's one I just cannot get behind. Where like, I try my best to try and see like every angle, everyone's perspective on things, but Sucker Punch is one where I just I don't know how you can come up with arguments for this one. This is
That movie sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah,
redeeming
it's like
about it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
13-year-old like
It's
fever
awful.
dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just like, I like chicks shooting robots.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
And
that's
it
the only
was
reason you watch
telling
that
you
movie.
it's cool right now.
that's
Yeah.
I swear that was where the Zack Snyder like cover song thing really just got out of control.
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
fucking hate that. Yeah, I think I've said that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate the use of covers. Yeah, that movie has some of the worst music covers.
Maybe one of the worst
Yeah.
soundtracks. Yeah.
Yeah, like ever. Like of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies I don't connect with. A bunch of movies that people are like, Adam, you got to check out this one, and then they get disappointed when I don't feel the same. Some of those are cult movies.
I'm curious on your guys' thoughts on this one from Big Boss Man 538. What's your opinion on longer YouTube videos? Do you think it comes to a point where long is too long?
I think it's fine. I see people complain about long videos, and then the videos get millions of views. So I'm like, as long as it's getting views and people like it, then fucking who gives a shit how long it is?
Yeah, I'm in the camp
fucking
of
5 hours long.
yeah, just do whatever it needs to be.
Short videos do well too. Yeah, I see short videos get millions of views too. Like Critical's videos get millions of views. They're short. Like, you know, who fucking gives a shit?
Yeah, I'm not opposed. You know, a lot of my multi-part series are long. There's a lot of long content that I make. There's short content that I make. I make all kind of content.
I've made longer content. I've made content that's like 55 minutes long. And I've made movies that are like 90 minutes, but like that's, or, 80 minutes.
I try to make things as long as they need to be for the subject matter that I'm covering and how much I have to say about it. If I have a lot to say about something, it's going to be long.
Make things as long as you want. As long as you want it to be. As long as you feel it needs to be.
Yeah.
That's I feel the way.
I think
to go
also,
about it.
just a little shower thought here. I think longer content winds up getting more views because some people will click on them, watch parts, and then come click on it again later when they return to it, and that probably counts as 2 views. Yeah. So it's like the more times someone returns to the same video, the more that might boost it in the algorithm in a way.
Some of these videos, these reviews are like 3+ hours long, you know, like, yeah, you're going to be returning to that video.
Some of these reviews are like 8 hours long.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of reasons. I think there's like a lot of ads in them too. You can put more ads in the video because it's longer. There's also like, I think people put it on to help them go to sleep, or they put it on like before they go to sleep, like they watch it at night, like on TV.
Yeah,
or,
it does better in the algorithm depending on the type of content. Honestly,
you can watch it on your laptop or on your TV. But like I used to do that even with just movies or shows. Yeah, so people just watch it like that. I think people do that too.
Yeah, and when the point where long is too long is just case by case type basis. Both a 10-second review is just as valid to me as an 8-hour one on YouTube.
Yeah,
sure. A video can be too long if it's filler. Like if
that's not even a problem. You can have a short
Yeah.
video that's filler. I was about to say, like that's the problem.
Exactly.
Isn't even the length. It's how much of it is filler, right? It's how concise you're being with your information and your time. Which, the video doesn't need to be long to do that. That's a separate issue.
Yeah. That's not to say brevity is not what we should also be striving for, but sometimes you need the time. Sometimes you need to just the real estate to make as many points as possible.
There's more wrong with The Lion King 2019 than any other movie.
Yeah. Well, that's one of like the rabbit hole examples, which is like, oh my god, the spiraling. How deep does this go?
Yeah. There's a lot of information in my Kimba video. There was a lot to cover there. It had to be done that way. So.
Okay. How about this one from DHMO Protection Agency. Do you think we'll ever see someone make a feature film machinima, aka a film made using the tech provided in video games? So this is like a very 2008
cool
kind
idea.
of centered episode.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I feel like we were just talking about the Unreal like technology with the Matrix. Surely it will just be a viable, like theoretically at some point.
I mean, depending on how we define it, it's already happened. It's literally already. There was a film at Sundance this year that I didn't watch because it didn't seem interesting, called I Met My Girlfriend in VR or something, and it was filmed in VR chat with the VR chat cameras and just everybody. And it wasn't like scripted, it was documentary format. And so it's like, okay, well, we want to call it that. The Red versus Blue web series that I've talked about before, I watch those seasons as if they are feature films. Like they didn't make it to theaters or anything, but a lot of them flow like it. Like they turn out to be like 90-minute seasons, and they have a continuing storyline. There's a climax. It's like, oh, this might as well be a film. It was just released episodically beforehand. So I think we've already hit that point. I don't think that this is something that hasn't happened yet. I guess depending on how you define it.
Yeah, I guess it does define.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on the definition, because like with Red versus Blue, they started getting the production got quite high, didn't it? Like they had all the like custom animations coming in. They didn't just use like the forge.
They could do like a Red versus Blue movie. Yeah, I would be interested in that at least.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, there's lots of different utilities you can kind of get out of like game software. Just for, you see it with all these Disney Plus shows, they're just going crazy with the dome, with these CG environments using Unreal technology just to generate like hills in the background and have realistic lighting in the dome. Maybe that's more of a like short-term instant use of video game engines and whatnot and tech.
All right, one more question.
Okay, then let's end on this one that you can answer, Adam, from Swampy13. Hey, Adam, I'm going to be in Vancouver for the summer for an internship. Any good restaurants or must-visit places while I'm in the area?
Depending on what kind of vibe you want, there's like really good bang for your buck sushi called Samurai on Davie. And their portions are gigantic, and it's really good. Definitely get some sashimi while you're here, especially from that place. They're going to be huge pieces and really good quality fish, especially if you're not used to like living near water or anything. Yeah, get a bunch of seafood. There's a bunch of ramen places. What I do whenever I'm in a city looking for good food, and this has been pretty fucking foolproof for me, is I don't use Yelp, because that's a bullshit website that blackmails people and gives false information. But I use Google reviews, which also can be manipulated, but in terms of how I use it, I think it's pretty foolproof. And I've discovered many great restaurants this way. I'll go and I'll be like, okay, within an area, I'll just search the word restaurant or something. And then I'll see all these different things pop up. I'll click on them individually. I'll see what the ratings are, and I'll see how many ratings there are. So a 5-star rating, if there's only like a couple hundred people that have rated on it, I don't really trust that much. But if there's a restaurant that has like 600 plus, like there's some that have like thousands, and it's all like, 4.5 or higher, then you can pretty much guarantee that that's like a pretty good like that, there's enough people rating it that highly. And I found a lot of great restaurants just by doing that. Yeah, there's bunch of great stuff. Let me check my list again to give another specific thing. Just give me 1 second.
Google Maps makes traveling just so much easier.
It does.
How did anyone like find any like cool restaurants in the 80s and whatnot? I guess just word of mouth.
Yeah, I guess so. Such a different time.
Oh yeah, Duffin's Donuts is just such a stupid Vancouver staple. You got to go there like in the middle of the night after the bars are closed, and it's just a bunch of drunk people. Like it's a donut place, but they've also got like a gigantic menu of like Chinese food and like sandwiches and fried chicken. It's just so stupid, but it's funny. St. Augustine's is like right next to the SkyTrain. They have really good, surprisingly good individual pizzas, good beer selection there too, and their mac and cheese croquettes are delicious. You should try those. If you're not from Canada, maybe get some poutine. They have some options at Belgian Fries.
Poutine.
Yeah, you're obligated.
Yeah, it's pretty good poutine.
Shit ton of great food in Vancouver. And if you ever head out to Victoria, so if you take the ferry and go to the island, go to Hank's A Restaurant. That might be my favorite restaurant. They're insane. And get like the taster platter. The menu changes all the time. They use crazy good ingredients, great cocktails. Yeah. I'm kind of a foodie, as Alex would attest to, since he visited me.
Yeah, it was awesome. So much good fucking food down.
Yeah, Vancouver's the spot for good food.
Cool.
All right, I guess that about does it. And it is Ralph's turn to recommend a film.
So I guess my next recommendation.
What have you got for us?
I've never seen this movie. I'm gonna do Geely.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it either, but I know it's notorious.
Okay.
Yeah.
remember when I was young enough that I was like on the radio, listening to the radio, that people were talking about how bad it was on the radio. How do you say it? It's like Jiggly again, or how do you spell that?
What's the title
I think
again?
it's Geely.
Gigli with Ben Affleck
and Jennifer J-Lo.
Oh, this one. Yeah, I've always
Jennifer
I've always seen that
Lopez.
poster and been like, what the fuck is
2.6 rating
this?
on IMDb. That's pretty fucking cool.
1.2
Okay, wow.
on Letterboxd.
Cool, I'm hyped.
Martin Brest. Cool.
Never seen it.
Awesome.
I'm kind of curious.
Perfect. Thank you. I've never seen it either.
Yeah, wrap up my trilogy of garbage I've been recommending recently.
That's great.
Cool.
All right, so if you don't want to be spoiled for Jiggly,
Jiggly.
I always read it as like giggly, as in like giggling.
Yeah, well,
I think it's Geely.
yeah,
Really?
I've heard it. I've heard it
Gila.
pronounced Geely. Who knows? Directed by Martin Brest. If you don't want to be spoiled, listen, watch it before the next episode. These episodes are released publicly every 2 weeks. You can listen to them early by going to sardonicast.com, signing up for premium, $2 a month. You can get these episodes early as they're edited. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Also, we got merch. Merch? Did I say March first? I tried to say merch. We got merch.
For March.
Check it
Yeah,
out
we
in
are
the...
March.
Well, we recorded this in March, but this will be out in April. We got merch. Check it out in the link in the description. And send us some fan art. Sardonicast subreddit, Sardonicast Twitter, #Sardonicast fan art. And we will include it at the beginning of the YouTube videos. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Shrek.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.